In such circumstances, the survivors would tend to cling especially to their religion. On this Sunday morning, the last Greek priest in Turkish-occupied Cyprus celebrates Mass. In the church, it has been stripped by looters of all its decoration. Icons are brought in by the elderly and devout, since it is not safe to leave them in place. The liturgy is sung with an unusual devotion, expressing national endurance as well as religious orthodoxy. The Turkish authorities do not permit Greek children to be educated beyond the primary level. Those seeking secondary education must leave. Those who leave may not return. Trying to avoid police surveillance, one of the last two Greek Cypriot teachers agreed to talk to me. Yanula is in an acute dilemma. 4 of her 5 children have moved south for good, to pursue the education that is denied them. If she follows, her pupils will have no teacher.
I have 4 children in Nicosia, and I live here only with my husband and one of my children. And I feel very badly because I don't know how they are there. And I fight myself just to get the decision to stay or to go. And when I go there, I feel badly again because I don't know how is my husband and my other child here. And this year he's going to leave the village also because he finished the elementary school.
At this point the police arrived, and Yanula's talk with me was abruptly broken off. So a few days later, I went to the Lido Palace checkpoint and waited rather anxiously to see if Yanula had been allowed to come south to meet her children. I was very relieved to see her. The Greek remnant in the north lives on the sufferance of the Turks and can only visit the south under severely restricted conditions. Though she had agreed to a second interview and understood the risk she was running, I took care not to catch her eye as she completed the various formalities that a Cypriot citizen must undergo in order to visit one half of her own country of birth. A bribe to the Turkish customs officer to avoid a tiresome baggage search in the boiling sun is the least of these indignities. Once across the frontier, she told us what had befallen her after we'd been so rudely interrupted.
A policeman, but not in policeman's uniform, came near me and called me and told me, "Where did you go?" I said, "Nowhere." "Nowhere, you lie, because a lot of people saw you." Then asked me again, "What did you say to them?" I said again, "Nothing. I didn't say anything." But he was looking at me with much angry and was frightening me, and I felt much horror because he told me, "You will see them." Then at night I was looking forward to leave from that village because I didn't know what will happen to me.
At least Yanula can see her children for a few days before having to return to the dilemma she faced in the first place. When or if she and those like her give up, the Greek presence in northern Cyprus will have ended. As I travelled through Cyprus, I was often reminded that the island has been fortified since antiquity and has been a place of arms for competing civilizations since before the Roman Empire. Today it plays reluctant host to British bases and listening posts linked to the NATO and American networks in the Middle East. And the strategic situation of Cyprus, moored as it is alongside Syria, Lebanon, Israel, and Egypt, has long made it an object of desire for the great powers. The fondness of outsiders for partition and for a weak Cypriot state is felt by many Cypriots to be the root of the problem. In 1974, after Henry Kissinger had managed to show partiality both for the Greek dictators and for the Turkish invaders, the United States lost an embassy to Arslan and an ambassador to an assassin, while Greek Cypriots demonstrated in huge numbers at what they called Western betrayal. This golf ball installation, inelegantly dominating Mount Olympus, is ideally situated to monitor the radio waves of the Middle East. "99 square miles of the island actually belong to the United Kingdom, and the area has been lovingly converted to give as good an impression as possible of the playing fields of Eton. Back in the capital, it is only foreign troops who can permit entry to the frontier zone.
1 Charlie, this is Foxtrot 1 radio check, over. Foxtrot 1 Restaurant.
Here, where the division of communities is as wide as a street, it is easy to see why the Greeks refer with melancholy to the dead zone.
Morning, sir. No, that's all. This morning.
Tense and fraught though this district already is, it may easily become more so. If Turkey finally absorbs the north, as some fear, and if the Greeks respond, this could become the border between two outside states, as well as between two Cypriot communities, in which case there would be plenty of flashpoints.
They'll end up pointing weapons at each other, cocking weapons. Whether they're loaded or not, who knows? If you got a soldier pointing a weapon at you, you must assume that it's loaded. It gets to the point where, in fact, if you've got the opposing forces, they engage in trading. And what's happened here, just about where the two soldiers are standing down in the low ground, was a Turk soldier was shot by Greek soldiers. And it happens back and forth, Greek soldiers trading with Turk soldiers. And obviously if an officer comes along or a senior NCO, the game is up, and you know, the guilty party gets hunted down where he lies, so to speak.
When you say trading, do you mean smuggling or do you mean swapping?
The popular theory, one held by the soldiers anyway, is that our friends to the north, the Turkish forces, they trade drugs for pornography, which the Greeks have to the south.
The weeds of drugs and pornography flourish in the wasteland.
Morning.
Raising my hat to one of the many sentries who keep this strip under observation from either side, I and my new Canadian friends tread tactfully along. Time stopped here in a moment of furious violence, leaving ruins and wreckage as witness. Shops and cafes are deserted and shuttered, as they were on the day they were abandoned, and you can see yet another freeze-frame picture of 1974.
There's an interesting spot here. If you take a look inside, we have a small cafe, the 1960s motif on the walls.
Oh, yes.
From what I understand, everything was set up in the pre-1974 mode with glasses, cups.
Like Louis Celeste or something.
Yeah. And if we carry on just up here, we have the booby-trapped building, which is rather interesting as well. This whole block, in fact, is booby-trapped. You can actually see it through here, inside against the wall. You can see where a wire leads from this grate here to a grenade.
What would you have to do to set it off? You have to break through this shutter.
The wire for the one that we can see is actually cut, so it's been essentially immobilized. But as far as the rest of the block is concerned, we have no idea. So we just stay out.
Give it a wide berth.
Exactly.
Yeah, me too.
If we come just around the corner, you can see where Brother Zone Carey going into the Turkish side of the